You have seen the EV, it's now time for ICE or the internal combustion engine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tata Curvv petrol and diesel engine version of the larger mid-size SUV. And much like the Nexon and the Nexon EV, the Curvv and the Curvv EV are twin assaults in this particular larger mid-size SUV space. You're watching HT Auto. I'm Shubhadeep Chakravarti and we've landed back in Goa to find out what the Tata Curvv in its engine avatar brings to the table. Just like the EV, the main highlight on the side profile of the Curvv is its sloping roofline and therefore its name. Modern bits come from the flush type door handles here, and the alloy design on these 18-inch wheels, complete with subtle aero inserts, also look quite appealing. Now there is a chrome lining under the window line here, and you get a small but very significant Curvv lettering on the first half of the front door. The design of the face too is minimalistically smart, and while there is no charging inlet here, obviously, you get a stretched LED light bar, LED DRLs, bifunction LED headlights and LED fog lights with cornering function. Sequential indicators further the visual appeal. I particularly like the design of both the Curvv and Curvv EV from the back, especially the stretched LED light bar here in the middle and the design of the LED tail lights. Now this one, also much like the electric version, comes with gesture controlled operation for opening the trunk, and wait for it, unlike the electric version, comes with 500 liters of cargo area. And now that's not just significant in terms of numbers, but even visually there is a whole lot of space in the boot here, and luggages can be packed on top of one another for, well, the entire family to move on long highway rides. The cabin of the Curvv is largely similar to that of the Curvv EV as well, and for most parts that is nice. There is a large 12.3-inch infotainment screen here. This is once again the centerpiece of the cabin of the Curvv, and it has got a whole lot of applications here. In fact, it'll probably take you quite some time after you buy the Curvv to sort of make use of most of these features. Will you actually make all the features part of your daily drive routine? I'm not entirely sure, but there is this 360-degree camera here as well. The feed is quite nice, crisp, bright and vivid. Of course, you can use this animation here of the Curvv to get a 360-degree view of everything that's around. So the display is pretty good. In fact, dare I say, one of the better ones that we've at least seen in a car in this segment. Then there is a 10.25-inch all-digital driver display as well. Again, we've seen that in some of the newer previous Tata models too, so that's great. Unfortunately though, what's not is that the steering here can be adjusted for rake but not for reach. So frankly, that's a bit of a miss here on the Curvv, but it does come with paddle shifters in case you are inside the automatic transmission version. The manual, for obvious reasons, doesn't get it. In terms of feature list, the Curvv is pretty well packed. You get wireless charging for your phone on the center console here. You get ventilated front seats. The driver's seat can be electronically adjusted. Unfortunately though, the front passenger seat, well, still has to be adjusted manually. But you get air purification system, you get wireless support for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which, if you remember, a lot of the Korean brands don't offer yet. There is a large glove box too, in fact one of the largest in the segment. It's a cool glove box, so even on that count, Tata has done a fairly good job. On the flip side though, the dashboard could have had a bit more of premium materials instead of hard plastics, and there were still quality issues with several panels. Here in the back seat, space is surprisingly decent once again. Knee room is adequate, space for my feet is also pretty adequate, and headroom, I'm 5'8", is decent for me, but you have to factor in the sloping roofline. Somebody taller than me may just have a little bit of a problem, but for an average Indian height, this headroom is also pretty good. The only little bit of a drawback though, and this is from my personal preference, The recline on these seats is a bit too much and there is no adjustable function here, but once you make your peace with that, you can actually look forward to a central armrest here, dedicated AC vents, charging points, conventional and a type C, so even the backseat passengers should be fairly comfortable, whether on a daily run or on long highway journeys. Storage space for the backseat passengers though unfortunately is very limited. The pockets on the doors are very narrow, the quality of plastics is not that great either, and there is no flap panel behind the front seats for you to store your tablet or magazines. But the question really is, how good is the Curvv on the move? Remember, this car isn't going to be exactly chauffeur driven, it's not targeting that sort of a customer base. So, well, the real test, the challenge is in how the Curvv moves. So come, let me tell you all about that as well. There are 2 petrol and 1 diesel engine option available, and all of these come with either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. The all-new Hyperion petrol motor is the one we are entirely focused on, this one coming with a 6-speed manual gearbox. Manuals may be going out of fashion, but paired to this new turbo petrol engine, the Curvv does feel like a breath of fresh air to drive. It offers 123 bhp and 225 Nm of torque, but what's great is how slick the 6-speed transmission really is. Each gear number has a large rev band, and you can pull the Curvv to 70 kmph in third, no problem. The ride though is a bit stiff and the suspension could have been softened for regular roads. But on broken or uneven patches, the Curvv's ground clearance comes to the rescue. The steering is well weighted, and while the SUV is slightly sluggish in Eco Drive mode, it makes up for it in city and sport modes. Give it an open stretch like this and the triple-digit mark comes fairly easily. We also got a little bit of a chance to experience the diesel motor, the one that comes paired with the automatic transmission. The engine is quite eager, but what actually elevates the experience of driving this diesel Curvv is the automatic transmission option. Engage the sport mode and this can be one of the most fun cars to drive, especially when you're being a little aggressive, a little enthusiastic with it. Of course, we would have wanted to spend a little bit more time with this particular version of the Curvv, and we'll get back to you with a detailed drive review a little later. The Tata Curvv is a seriously strong product competing in a seriously tight segment. Pricing it under rupees 20 lakh, at least the top end version, has been a smart move as well. Now, if Tata can actually fix quality control issues, the Curvv can be a very easy car to recommend despite its long list of direct rivals, many of whom are extremely capable in their own right. What do you make of the Tata Curvv? That is what actually matters. So do let us know, and do not forget to check out our in-depth written review as well. Do follow us on our social media handles on YouTube, Instagram and X. For now though, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching.